What's happened, you bad motherfuckers? It's Monday, the 15th of November. The joint is brought to you by Onnit.com. Listen, the best supplements in the world. I've been doing business with them for close to 12 to 13 years. I love the Alpha Brain. I love the Shroom Tech, Immune, and the Energy. I love New Mood. Onnit is a great company. Alpha Brain is their main supplement. If you try Alpha Brain and you don't like it, you get your money back and you can keep the product. You're like, Joey, what's Alpha Brain? It's nootropics for your mind. It'll make you more focused. It'll make you sharper. And it's led me to you guys. This is part of my therapy. I've been doing my Alpha Brain, the black label, which is a little better than the original. Alpha Brain comes in powders. It comes in already made drinks. And Onnit is also responsible for kettlebells, club bats, you know, MCT oil. They have such a great selection of things. I can't even remember all the great stuff they have. But do me a favor. Go to Onnit.com right now. Press in joint and get 10% off any supplement. And remember, Monday, next Monday, is Onnit's Black Friday Monday Cyber Sale. 60% off of fucking everything. You understand me? Knock yourself out right now. Go to Onnit.com. Take a look at their supplements. Start 2022 on the right foot. Let's get some Alpha Brain so you're going to have the best fucking year of your life. If you don't like Alpha Brain, keep it. Tell Onnit and they'll pay you. They'll send you your fucking money back. Who's better than Onnit.com? Nobody. Go to Onnit.com and press in Joey or Joint and get 10% off delivered to your motherfucking house. The joint is also brought to you by Zip Recruiter. I told you guys a couple weeks ago, I put like a fake resume in there, and they hit me up with 10 things every day. Zip Recruiter's the real deal, Holyfield. And here's a fact for you. Right now, there's over 10 million job openings. Like I told you, 10 million job openings, but only 7.6 million people looking for work. So if you got a job opening, you need and above and beyond to get qualified people. Companies are doing everything they can to get people to work for them. Free childcare, work from home, massages, yoga, everything. If you need help building your team, do me a favor, whether you got a big company or a small company, go to ZipRecruiter.com/Joey. ZipRecruiter uses powerful technology to find and match the right candidates with your job and present them to you. You can easily review your recommendations and invite your top choices to apply. ZipRecruiter is so effective that 4 out of 5 employers who post a quality candidate get somebody within the first day. No wonder ZipRecruiter is the #1 rated hiring site in the United States. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. Joey, what are you talking about? Free! Go to ZipRecruiter.com/Joey. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Joey. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. Let's get this party started. It's Monday. We got no time for fun and fucking games here. Ba-boom.
Come on in. Yeah, Joey's in the back.
Check 1, 2. Welcome to Uncle Joey's Joint.
Greetings, you bad motherfuckers. Uncle Joey here with the joint. It's Monday, the 15th of the month. We're at the fucking halfway. That's it. We got 6 weeks left in this fucking year. 6 weeks left in 2021. I'm fired the fuck up. My dick is hard thinking about 2022. Seriously, man. It's been a fucking roller coaster. So I just want this shit to fucking end. And let's get this motherfucker started. I'm expecting the surge in December, like it's surging all over the country. So we're going to get a little surge in the East Coast once everybody goes inside. But we'll be alive and kicking by February. You just got to fucking, you know, don't get yourself in no corona situations in December and January so you can see Santa Claus. I mean, I don't even know if Santa Claus is going to show. That motherfucker, he has to show a proof of vaccination so to get into most states. So I don't even know if fucking Santa's going to do what he's supposed to do. It was a great weekend. I'm sorry about the generator noise. The power went out in the fucking neighborhood. A tree went down. All you could hear are fucking generators in my neighborhood. Thank God it was the first thing I got. When we got here on the 1st of September, and we ordered a generator on the 4th because they told us that power goes out, the trees go down. These motherfuckers don't cut the tree. I'm down here like, you know, what's that dude that used to live in the mountains, Jeremiah Johnson? Like fucking trees everywhere, but what are you gonna do? They go down, you fucking, you live, and we got the generator. Let me tell you something, I went out last night, it was fucking dark. I mean, when you could really see the difference what street lights do for you. And it's already dark down here as it is. This is fucking darkness on the edge of town. But last night with no power, holy shit. All you were living on was high beams. It really is a fucking weird adventure. Thank God I didn't do shit this weekend. I mean, I did the usual stuff with the family. The UFC was fucking great. 2 weeks in a row. Yair Rodriguez against fucking Max Holloway. I did not bet the fight. I didn't even bet yesterday. I just wanted to watch that fight. I was busy, and I sat down, and I got home for that fight. I think it started at 5:45. And I got to tell you, those two fucking guys, I take my hat off to them. That was a hell of a fucking brawl. They beat themselves up with everything with the kitchen sink.
Was that the guy with the foot?
Oh my God! His foot looked like mine. It looked like my foot without the fungi toe. I mean, it was fucking huge. The fight was just spectacular, and I tell you, I was one of the first naysayers of the UFC when they went to Fight Island. I didn't think they could pull it off. I got to take my hats off to Dana White. He's done a great job, and I'm sitting there watching this fight, and all of a sudden, for some reason, you know, the fight's over, I'm gonna eat dinner, and I'm about to go upstairs, and my buddy called me, he goes, go on Twitter, look at some chick that pissed on a guy in some fucking concert in Daytona Beach. Holy fuck. I was in shock at how much piss came out of that fucking monkey. That poor guy, he's dead, he drowned. I don't know, everybody keeps talking about the disaster in Astro World. What about the disaster in Dayton? That chick with that, God knows what was in her piss, fentanyl, what the fucking guy was on the floor, whatever. But when I went down there when I went to look at Billy's post about the chick, I saw this fucking video of Conor McGregor mad dogging the TV. Like the TV was on with Max Holloway, and Conor McGregor had his fucking chest flexed and his back flexed, and he's just walking back and forth looking at fucking Max Holloway, like saying shit, and I'm like, this poor bastard doesn't know that this sport isn't waiting for him anymore. Like they're doing, like by that fight last night, what I saw 2 nights ago, Saturday night, that fucking fight, I was like, where the fuck is Conor McGregor gonna fit in all this? Is he gonna fight Max Holloway? That's not gonna fucking happen. I don't even think he could hold his own against Yair. I mean, you know, time is just passing you by. That's just to let you know, dog. You get injured or something like this in sports, and I've said it before, whether it's the UFC, the NBA, the NFL, whatever the fuck it is. Like, I never knew that the longevity of a running back was 3 years. I never knew that. When I found that fact out, I fucking died. I was like, that's it? So that means like the guys that I follow, like Barry Sanders and fucking all those guys I liked when I was young, the guy from the Dallas Cowboys and all those guys, they were like 1 of 20. Like, you know how hard it is to make it in the NFL? You're like 1 of fucking 20. And that's why you have to take care of yourself. Like, you know, all those great players that I like, you know, the guy from fucking San Francisco, not Joe Montana, but the receiver, Jerry Rice. I mean, they weren't running backs and stuff like that, but now you understood why they took care of themselves. Like around, it wasn't just a football season. Like those guys got to lift weights, they got to fucking go to yoga. You have to do so much to be at that elite level of professionalism, because that's what happens. Injuries. An injury could set you back so fucking long. Like, I go to jiu-jitsu. I'm an old fucking man. I go to jiu-jitsu, but I know that if I don't lift weights and I don't do a little bit of yoga from time to time and I don't fucking stretch at night, I know I could pull something like I did 2 years ago with the fucking hamstring. I walked out of the house with a tight hamstring. If you have a fucking board and you freeze that motherfucker, you know, it's easier to break. It'll just fucking snap. And that's what happened to my fucking hamstring. So that's why I stretch. There's so much. It's like there's so much to be a stand-up comic. It's just not, you know, I thought when you got into stand-up comedy that you just walked up on the stage and cracked jokes. I didn't know about the writing. I really did. If you guys think, dog, I knew nothing about the mechanics of stand-up comedy, but I always thought that a guy just called the club and said, what are you guys doing tonight? Oh, nothing. We're just down here fucking eating fucking ribs. Well, this is Joey Diaz. I'm going to come down and do like 48 minutes. Do you have a camera? We could dust one up. It's in the basement. All right, see if you could tape it because I want to fucking send it to HBO tonight. I thought that's what it was. I really did. I didn't know that you had to write, you had to work out, you had to go out on stage every fucking night. And then when you get to that level of comedy, like you're like, okay, I'm doing great, I'm writing, I'm doing this. But then you start drinking, you start fucking the waitress, you start fucking lying to the booker, and now you get the other end of comedy, which is, you know, now is when you have to put the brakes on and go, okay, that's what I'm going to do. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm not going to fuck any waitresses. I'm not going to fuck the owner's daughter. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to snort coke. And you see what works for you after a while. You know, you just see what fucking goes. But 3-4 years ago, you know how hard it was to be me? Like, what went into that? I respect those Chappelles, and I respect the Rogans, and I respect Bert Kreischer's. Not, you know, we don't get paid to get on stage and crack jokes. We do that for free. That shit's free. We get paid for getting on a plane, losing our luggage, having to get up at 5 in the morning, dealing with an Uber driver that don't speak English. Not to mention he's got a stink coming out of his armpit that you can't even sit in the back seat. You got to open up both windows and it's wintertime. You know, these are the things. They don't pay me to go on stage. I do that for free. I do that because I fucking love it. I get paid. It's like when you shoot a movie. You get what scale? $6.80 a fucking day? Oh, shit. The power's back on. There you go. See what happens, guys? You just got to be fucking patient. Everybody was jumping up and down. Mike came. He's like, people going to hear the compressor. Listen, what do they rather hear? The compressor or the podcast on a Monday? This is Monday. This is liberation here. But so much work goes into being a fucking stand-up comic. You know, when you have a band, when you have 5 guys in a band, like I just heard something that Mick Jagger books all his own plane tickets. Like he books the band's plane tickets and shit like that. You know, there's people that are very hands-on. I was very hands-on. People always said to me, well, you need an assistant. That's what I need, a fucking assistant. I can't have, I couldn't tell somebody what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, can you pick up my dry cleaning? You know what an assistant is in Hollywood for you people who are going to college and going, well, I'll get my job as an assistant now, meet people. No, you're not going to meet nobody. You're going to meet other dog walkers. That's who you're going to meet. When you're walking dogs, you're going to meet other assistants when you go to the dry cleaners to pick up some jerk-off shirts. That's who you're going to meet. You're going to meet the plumber on a Saturday when he's out of town at a concert and you had plans with your girlfriend, but his pipe's broken. You got to go to his house and call a fucking plumber and wait there like a fucking slave, because that's basically what a fucking assistant is to you. I didn't want somebody I could tell what to do. That does not sound cool to me at all. When people call me and they're like, I'll have my assistant call you, I'm like, I hope he doesn't, because I'm done doing business with you. You know, it's like when a comedian has an assistant. That tells you a lot about that fucking person. I don't want to be around that motherfucking assistant. I got a guy that helps me out, but I don't need a guy getting me fucking water. I don't need a guy walking my dog. I don't need a guy, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't do that to somebody. That's just fucking cold-blooded shit. But anyway, I don't know what the fuck we were talking about there. It's Monday. We got 6 weeks left in the fucking year. I've had a lot of time to think lately. I've had a lot of time to think about my life. You know, the things I did, what was wrong. On top of that, I'm writing a fucking book, which you get daily reminders of your life. And, you know, now we're past a lot of shit. We're on the chapters where we just meet Terry. We're like on 2003 and stuff like that, you know. I was looking at the outline. She sent me some chapters this weekend, Erica. I love her to death. She's doing a fucking phenomenal job. And she sent me some chapters, and you got to read them, you know. You got to sit there and read them. It takes a while, and I wasn't doing much, so I was just fucking reading the chapters. And I started reading, like, the earlier chapters just to see how it's flowing. I think she sent me, like, I don't know, 4 chapters, and then I wanted to read the 4 prior to see how it's flowing. You know, it took about an hour, no big fucking deal. But I got to the chapter about quitting cocaine, and I was reading through it, and I had to stop. Like, I had to stop, take my glasses off, stretch my eyes, and I had to go, what the fuck am I reading? The shit I was reading was something that, yes, I recognized, and yes, I understood it, but it was so real that it brought memories back to me. Like, I was like, what the fuck, you know? Like, I still remember one of my low points on drugs. She didn't even know it. Until this day, she doesn't know it. I had Terry drive me to cop one night. I was so fucking paranoid at 4 in the morning. And I made up some fucking story, and I'm like, Terry, you got to drive me to this guy's house. I got to get weed. I can't drive. I had alcohol in my breath. I was coked out to the max. Thank God it was dark out. You know, she couldn't really, I mean, I could catch her staring at me, looking at my face to see what the fuck was going on with this kid. But, you know, she drove me, and when I went inside, it had to be fucking 4:30 in the morning. You know, when I came out, I got in the fucking car, and we drove away. She didn't know, but in the back of my mind, she did know. You know, we went home, she went to bed. I did my junkie shit, and I went to bed, you know, 8 hours later in the daytime or something. And a few days later, she asked me, she goes, why were you in there so long? You know, the cops drove by one time, and I was like, you know, it just happens when you go in. They were playing a Nintendo game or whatever. I don't know what excuse I told her. But I got to tell you something. I read that chapter the other day. Like, I just read a few paragraphs, and it just kicked me in the stomach. You know, I quit cocaine. I didn't celebrate it this year on the podcast, so we're going to celebrate it now. I quit cocaine November 3rd, 2007. I remember that I started to quit in like February 2007. And I still remember saying this to myself. I still remember where I was, how I was sitting. I had the notebook out and I was journaling, and I'm like, I really want to get off coke. In my journal every day, and at that time, I would write the journal, but I would also include weekly goals and daily goals. And I started doing the daily goals because I really wanted to get the coke away from me. So I had to reiterate it every morning. I would get up and write, you know, I want to be healthy. I want to quit doing cocaine. I want to, you know, improve my stand-up, and I want to keep writing. And, you know, everything I wrote, I remember that I would zero in on what, like 5 or 6 of the daily goals. And 5 of them were goals that I wanted to reach, but I knew I could not reach while I was doing cocaine. Like I remember looking at them and going, this is fucking ridiculous that I'm writing this out, because I'm just going to keep doing it again today. But it didn't matter to me. I kept writing it and writing it every day. Daily goals, quit cocaine, be a better boyfriend, you know, fucking kill at the Comedy Store. Everything that I really wanted wasn't going to happen until I quit cocaine. And I remember that Marilyn Martinez died November 3rd. It's the same day as Rick Ramo's birthday. God rest her soul. I was headed to New York. I came to New York to do the Hoboken Police Department benefit and the North Bergen basketball team benefit. And I'm not going to lie to nobody, that Friday, that Friday night, I had the Hoboken benefit. I was surrounded by cops. You know, I did my thing. A couple friends went down to see me. And I remember that I made a promise that weekend. I said, I'm going to go do this thing for the cops. Sorry about that. I'm going to do this thing for the basketball team. And I'm going to really, really, really try not to get high. I was really upset about Marilyn. I wasn't in my hotel room crying or nothing. But I was upset about Marilyn because she had told me like 2 weeks earlier when I went to visit her. They sent her home to die, you know. And I went to visit her. And she was talking to me about whatever, you know, about comedy. That if she came back to comedy, she wasn't going to curse. I still remember that conversation. I was sitting really close to her. She was in one of those medical beds, and it was, you know, up like that. And I'll never forget that. She looked at me. We were talking about just general, you know, like she's like, the hospital sucked, the food, you know, whatever. And then she said to me, you know, how's stand-up going? And I go, it's good. The store misses you. And she goes, you know, if I ever get to do comedy again, God wants me to do clean comedy. And I'm like, holy shit, this chick is dying. She's talking about God and shit, you know, like, I'm like, what the fuck? And she just kept telling me what she was going to do if she beat cancer. She was going to do comedy. She was going to be clean. She was going to lose weight. She was going to take care of herself. She was going to do all these things. She said that she had been slipping with her life. And that's why she got the cancer and shit like that, and that she didn't want to die. We had a great fucking chat. And in the middle of all that chat, she was talking about God. And you guys know when people mention God, I get fucking nervous. It's like a fag with a whistle. I don't like it. I got a friend that talks about God all the time. I love him dearly. Every time we talk on the phone, he throws like 20 gods at me and shit. And I'm like, wow. But I love him to death, and I got to fucking put up with it. But that's his bag, so I don't even know what the fuck I was talking about. But anyway.
Marilyn was going to tell you.
No, I was just fucking around. You know, people who talk about God a lot drive me fucking crazy. And Marilyn, I love Marilyn dearly. And she's telling me all this shit about what her plans are. And in the middle of all this, she goes, and God wants you to stop doing cocaine. And I remember looking at her and going, where the fuck did that come from? But I was like, okay, Marilyn, I'll work on it. She's like, no, God wants you to stop doing it, Joey. And there was people in the room. Nobody heard her say it to me, but I was kind of embarrassed because she was just doing what a good friend would do. She was like, these are the reasons why you got to quit coke. You know, God wants you to quit coke. You got to quit. You know, these are the reasons why you're going to be a better person. You're going to be a better comic and all this shit. I'm like, I don't see that. You know, I didn't see that. Not that I didn't see becoming a better comic or a better person. I never saw myself quitting coke. It just had such a hold of me. And by the time that shit happened with Marilyn, I was already experimenting. What the fuck is wrong with me? I was already doing heroin on Monday nights. I mean, I was fucking down, you know. But I remember being in that. I was in a hotel room in Secaucus, New Jersey at I forget those hotels, what they're called. It wasn't the best hotel in the world.
Motel 6.
Yeah, it wasn't even a Motel 6. It was something else. And I remember sitting there going, what the fuck? You know, when I got the call that Marilyn died, I'm like, what the fuck? And I had called my buddy to start looking for fucking blow already. I go, look around, you know, let me know if you could find something. It was Friday night. I was coming back from Hoboken, and that's when I got the call that Marilyn had passed. I remember I got back to my hotel room, and I'm like, wow, Marilyn went, you know, this is not good, blah, blah, blah. You know, I felt bad for her husband. You know, Marilyn was good at the Comedy Store. She was great at the Comedy Store. I felt bad for the store. They were going to lose a good soldier. And I remember my friend calling me going, listen, I get the package, but I could be there at midnight. And I remember sitting there, closing my eyes and going, you know what? I'm going to not do coke tonight for Marilyn. I didn't say that to him. I said it to myself. I go, I'm not going to do coke tonight. Tonight. November 3rd, I'm not going to do coke. Just for Marilyn. And I remember that I hung up the phone with him, and I'm like, fuck, I made a mistake, you know, like, fuck. And I'm like, you know what? Let's try it. Let's try it. Smoke a joint, watch some TV, do something different. And I remember, like, at 1 in the morning, I was like, wasn't that bad. Wasn't that bad. And I went to sleep. Saturday, I woke up. My friends were picking me up. We're going to eat, this, that, the cemetery. And I remember I went to do my show in North Bergen that night, and where I could get coke was right there. Like 3 guys came, and they're like, we got a package if you need it. I'm like, okay, good to know. And I remember that I went into the back. They didn't have a green room. This wasn't like a comedy club. And I went in my pocket and I took out like whatever, $125. He said he had a half-eighth or something like that. And I remember I put it, like I separated from the other money and put it in my right pocket so I could make the drug transaction nice and clean. You know what I'm saying? Just give it to him, put it right back in my pocket. And I remember I bumped into him like twice. Like after the fucking comedy show, we talked a little bit. And I kept telling him, give me 10 minutes. I'm waiting for a friend of mine to call me to see if I should pick up an 8-ball or whatever. I told him that like 2 or 3 times. And I finally go, you know what? I'm in Sea Caucus. It'll take any of these drug dealers will take them 15 minutes to bring it to me. Again, I'm not gonna buy it. I'm just gonna fucking go home, and if I need it, I'll just call him and he'll bring it. I went home that night, started packing, thought about my week upcoming, fell asleep, got up, got on the plane, and came home. I remember on the plane ride from Newark to LA, I was like, I can't believe I didn't get high 2 nights in a row. Guys, that might not be anything to you, but at that time, I couldn't keep it together for more than a fucking day. I was at that point already. I was trying to space it out 2 days, 3 days, and I get high again. You know, I was telling, somebody asked me, how am I feeling lately, about 3 weeks ago. And I said, I'm feeling great, but my mind feels like I did coke last night. Like I couldn't grab the focus. Whenever I did coke the night before, I wouldn't have good comedy sets. It was just a given. Like my sets were going to be 50%. You know, I don't, because when you do stand-up, you have to, those words have to go through your heart. That's the, you ever have like a stereo system and you have to adjust the bass and the treble and the volume, all that shit, and then the music sounds good. When you do stand-up comedy, you have to do the same thing. You have to adjust the levels to your heart, because the material, the jokes pass through your heart. If you got no heart, it doesn't have a fucking filter. And that's why Aerosmith was having a hard time performing live all those years. Black Sabbath was having a hard time performing live all those years. They'll tell you what you know, Ringo Starr. You remember Ringo Starr for years and the Friends have put together fucking tours and shit like that. They never finished the tour because everybody gets coked out. Ringo Starr put out a fucking tour and a live concert that he sued the production company because they didn't want it to air because everybody was so fucking coked out and so wasted. This is no fucking joke. You know, it's funny. You know, everybody goofs on Ringo Starr. You know, that Ringo Starr is great. I love Ringo. Just the fact that he's still alive, he's got a great fucking attitude. This guy knows he was the luckiest man in the fucking world. There's some people who walk around their whole fucking life, they accomplished something, but like me. Listen, I started acting, like stand-up, I just got lucky, but with the acting, it was because of Big Pussy and The Sopranos. Everybody wanted a double big pussy. And I was right there to fill the fucking void. And listen, I got my foot in the fucking door. So what am I going to complain? What am I going to, you know what I'm saying? Like, what am I going to fucking cry about it? So when I fucking got back to LA, I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to keep this going. This 2 days. Ooh, 2 fucking days. That was, now I had already met with those guys for Boilermaker. I did this movie, Boilermaker, that I fucking loved the movie. I loved the script. When they came to me, it was supposed to be a big budget production, but then they went out and they could only come up. That movie's so funny, Boilermaker, because the guy that set that whole deal up was a guy, let me just tell you about LA, okay? For that, this is funny. You guys are gonna love this story. I'm a fucking creep. You understand me? I put guns to people's heads. I've done some shitty fucking things when I was young. That was a long fucking time ago. Today I'm a nice Christian fucking man, or whatever you want to say. I get high. I don't bother nobody. This motherfucker, this is why I say to you guys that Hollywood people are just fucking nuts. And they'll do anything. And last year, like I'm going to do a podcast pretty fucking soon. I'm going to lay it out for you motherfuckers. Like, I'm still a little pissed about what they did to D'Elia and those guys last year. I'm fucking furious that they went after D'Elia, especially knowing that D'Elia was slinging dick every fucking night. And it wasn't D'Elia that was on it. It wasn't like he was addicted to sex. Women were throwing themselves at fucking Chris D'Elia. I'm sick and tired of hearing this shit about, oh, well, even with me, well, Joey got his dick sucked. What do you think, those women were forced to suck a dick? Those women knew exactly what they were gonna fucking do, okay? And I'll get fucking 10 people to come in here and tell you the fucking same story. If you don't know Hollywood, shut your fucking mouth about it. You don't know how creepy it is. You don't know what the extent of what people will do. Who would fuck Harvey Weinstein? Have you taken a good look at fucking Harvey Weinstein? You ever look at a guy, I don't know if you're a guy or a female. If you're a guy, you ever look at a guy and go, Robert Redford is a good-looking fucking dude. Doesn't take a genius to look at Brad Pitt and go, that motherfucker get his dick sucked anyway. He get his dick sucked on a blind farm. You know what I'm saying? There's just some motherfuckers that even a man will go, that doesn't mean I'm gay or I have feelings for the guy. I'm just saying. You look at a guy and you're like, you know, you got to admit, Chris Cornell was a good-looking dude. Him being able to sing and play the guitar put him over the top. They just throwing pussy at him. You know, they just throwing it at him like a fucking Frisbee, you know. But the creepiness of L.A., what happened the last 2 years where all these people get waking up and saying that this guy did this to me and this guy did that to me. Let me tell you something. You put yourself in a bad position. Let's dig deep into this fucking situation. What were you doing at that comedy club anyway? Dog, I could tell you stories for hours about women that went up there looking for something to do to suck a dick to advance their careers. That's what they were doing with Harvey Weinstein. When you look at Harvey Weinstein, even if you're a guy, you look at him and go, Jesus Christ, he's a bit rough. You could tell his feet smell. You could tell his ass fucking stinks. It's like looking at me. You're like, Joey's feet stink. I could tell by looking at him. He's a fat dude. His asshole definitely fucking smells. He talks about restaurants and shit all the time. You know, his balls stink. You ever just look at somebody and go, I could tell that dude's got stinky fucking breath or whatever. You know, you could tell fucking, whatever his fucking name is, Harvey Weinstein's a fucking pig. But guys, the fact remains the same. Women sucked his dick to get on fucking TV and film. That's the bottom line, guys. You can never take that away from him. He didn't put a gun to their head. Nobody said anything about guns or whatever. It was just a straight up deal. I got a roll for you. You sniffed my nutsack? The roll is yours. You know, let me go home and think about it. 2 days later, they come back with binocular, you know, with their head down, with one eye on you. I think I want to do it, but I'm not sure. I've never done this before. No, you've never done this before. You've been working men all your fucking life, you know, and now you're working it to the extreme fucking height that you could do it. And that's what's going on in fucking Hollywood. But let me tell you the other side of it. The guy that got this movie, you ready for this? Got a DUI, got arrested. He got court-ordered, you know, DUI therapy, and he got court-ordered AA meetings. He went to a couple AA meetings, and he realized that a lot of industry was there. So what he did was, he fucking did the program for 90 days, did the fucking whatever. This guy had big money, so he paid the attorney, got off, whatever. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at anything, to be honest with you. I'm just telling you what people will do. This guy was getting high. I still remember him like being at gigs and going, he was like a manager, and he would come to see his clients. And I still remember like him drinking, having a conversation with him, and him going, oh shit, I can't drink tonight. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't drink? I can't have alcohol in my breath. I got to go to a 9 o'clock AA meeting. And I'm like, do you drink and go to AA? He goes, I go to AA for the connections. You can't beat them. He goes, all you people are fucking stupid. He goes, just fake it. Go to the fucking meetings. You know, tell them that you are trying to get sober from coke and whatever. And they, you know, Theo Von met, what's the guy that was raping kids and shit? The guy from American Beauty. Yeah. Yeah, the guy who was fucking, he got canceled for fucking, you know, the guy who played Kaiser Sose, whatever, that guy, Theo Von was hanging out with him. He met him at AA. I don't know if you got, you know, AA in Hollywood is a wide open fucking shoot 'em up. But anyway, this guy would go to meetings
Spacey.
Kevin Spacey, you know, yeah, Theo was friend. I remember calling Theo one morning. He's like, I gotta call you back. I'm having breakfast with Kevin Spacey. I'm like, Kevin fucking Spacey? How did you meet Kevin Spacey? Like, I met him at AA meetings. I'm like, what the fuck? You know, I tried to go to a few AA meetings in LA when I was first trying to get clean. They're not good. They're fucking, you know, I like the Newark meetings. In '85, Mr. T took me to a couple meetings in Newark. Oh my God. Those AA meetings are raw. People like, I drank a pint a day, and people would yell, fuck you. I was doing a gallon of vodka. Shut the fuck up, you fucking pussy. I was eating pills. I was snorting heroin, and you're in here for a pint of vodka. Go fuck yourself. I'd be fucking howling. But in AA, it's like this fucking fake scene. Like, hi, how are you? I've been clean for fucking, you know, 3 weeks, and my burps still smell like sperm, you know, the whole fucking deal. You know, so I went to a couple AA meetings, and I'm like, this is not going to work. But he would go to AA meetings to fucking connections and shit, and that's how he picked up the bat. I'm not mad at him, but I want you to think of what was done here. And then I saw the show I was on Showtime about Comedy Store, you know, I'm dying up here, whatever. And I think one of the guys for stage time used to go to AA meetings and just get up there and do 10 minutes and shit, and then they got mad at him. But then, you know, you look at that, that's completely, I don't know if that's fucking different. But then, you know what, guys? When I was a fucking open micer, there was a poetry meeting. And I used to crash the poetry meetings. I would go in there with like a skinny cigarette, you know, and just like, yeah, like a Capri Sun, the light, Capri, whatever the fuck. Yeah, I can't believe you remember Capri. They're the little faggy cigarettes. They're skinny. Oh, you don't know how many nights I ran out of Camel Lights when you're doing coke and you got to go for that fucking somebody else's. I used to get high with this chick all the time. Oh, my God. She used to drive me crazy. I didn't even go over there for sex. I just kind of liked her to talk to her on drugs. But she was a boozer. She would wear me the fuck out. Many a night I was over there smoking Camel Lights. I'd run out of cigarettes and start smoking a little faggy Capris. Oh my God, they got me dizzy and gave me a headache, and they were fucking skinny and shit. You over there fucking sucking the fucking Capri like the penguin. I would show up at those fucking poetry readings in Boulder, but that's completely different. A AA meeting has got God around them, like you're looking for a higher power and all that shit. So I had to take a minute from the podcast to talk to you about BetterHelp online therapy. I've been working with Dana now for about 5 months from the beginning of my taper, and she's been nothing but knowledgeable, helpful, and tremendous. We talk about BetterHelp a lot on this show, and this month we're discussing some of the stigmas around mental health. Many people think therapy is for so-called crazy people or weak people, but therapy doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It means that you're recognizing your emotions and you're ready to learn to control them like I had to. Therapy is a tool to utilize before things get worse. BetterHelp is customized online therapy. They offer phone, video, and even live chat sessions with your therapist. In my case, it was Dana. You don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy. You don't need to be a millionaire, and you can start communicating with your therapist in less than 48 hours. Give it a try. Go to BetterHelp.com right now. Press in Diaz, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the first month 10% off your first month when you go to BetterHelp.com/Diaz. That's BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/Diaz. Take control of your life. I did, and I'm feeling 100% better. Thank you for watching The Joint, cocksuckers. You know, it just bothered me, but I remember when I went to meet with those guys for the movie, and it wasn't him in the room, because he would never say this to me, and one of the guys said, you know, you have a drug abuse problem, a substance problem, and we want to know that you're going to have it in check during this movie. And I remember that I felt like shit when he told me that. I was very fucking embarrassed about that, because I didn't want my drug use to fall into my comedy and into my acting, but at that point it had. Stand-up was affecting, you know, towards the end of The Longest Yard, my relationship with them was not any good. My relationship was intact with Adam, but the producers knew about my substance abuse problem, and I just shunned it off, you know. And when I went to talk to these guys about Boilermaker, if you can find the movie, rent it. It's not a bad movie. I did a good job in the movie. That's the first time I was really loose in a movie. I had to be there 1 days in a row for this movie. So when they offered me the movie, that was the...
That's a long time for you, man.
Yeah, that was the fucking... I was like, I don't know if I could do this. And I wanted to talk about this today, but I didn't in a way. But I thought that I've been reading a lot of the messages again lately. A couple people on Patreon, a couple people on Facebook, a couple people on Twitter, reach out to me. And people are struggling with drugs. They're finally coming to the conclusion that they're struggling with drugs. This last 2 years has been very hard on some people. It was hard on me. I struggled for a little while. So I know that it was hard for a lot of people. So I wanted just to let you know that you're not alone and that you could beat this. I thought about this last night, about the podcast, how I was going to present this to you. The name of this podcast is called How You Can Beat This. Because the thing that kills us the most as human beings is when we go to do our goals, we think about them, and while we're writing them, I got to be honest with you guys. When I first started writing goals and doing all this type of shit, I thought I was just kidding myself. And I thought that I never thought I'd be on TV. I never thought, when I tell you these things, guys, I'm honest with you guys. I was in such a bad shape mentally. I mean, my stand-up was good. I was attentive. I was enthusiastic. But I never thought I could do anything because of my drug record, because of where I came from, and because of my felonies. And that was that's stinking thinking is what they call that shit, right? They call it stinking thinking. Sorry about the water bottle, guys, but it's part of growing the fuck up, I can't get away from, what do you want me to do, pack a glass with ice cubes, and then you'll complain about the fucking ice cubes. If I get a fucking lunch thing, one of those canteens, you'll complain about the fucking canteen. So at the end of the day, you're going to complain about everything. So who gives a fuck? Let me drink my water in peace and get hydrated here so I can have a good week like you cocksuckers. But my point being is that I just, don't ever, when you're thinking about your sobriety, when you're thinking about your goals, when you're thinking about the things that you want to do, don't write yourself off. I did that. I wrote myself off. And listen, I still got to the places where I wanted to get to because I consistently wrote my goals every fucking day. Like right now, I'm going to go into deep waters. I'm putting myself into deep waters. I got to change my life around. I'm very close. So what do I have to do? I got to start writing daily goals. Yeah, I journal. Yeah, I do quarterly goals, but you know what? Starting tomorrow, starting today, as a matter of fact, when this podcast ends, I'm going to start the daily goals because it's Monday. And daily goals could be anything, but my daily goal for years was to quit cocaine. And then I would put down quit cocaine. How are you going to quit cocaine? That was the fucking thing. I didn't know the 3 things to answer. That's the other side of writing your goals. When you write your goals, it's so number 1, quit cocaine. A, B, and C. How are you going to quit? What 3 things are you going to do to quit? Do you know what the crazy thing with me is? I can never fill out A, B, and C. So for me on a daily basis, when I wrote out my goals to quit cocaine, I didn't even know how to start to get there. How do you quit cocaine? You go to AA, I tried that. You go to NA, I tried that. You go to a rehab, I tried that. I tried an outpatient rehab, not a 6-week in there with a bunch of momos chanting Kumbaya. I mean, I tried all that. You try talking to a priest, they wouldn't even take my calls anymore. I talked to so many fucking priests. So I wouldn't write anything down. I didn't even know where to start. And I remember that one day, like in November, when I came from Maryland's that Sunday. That next day, I thought about it. I go, okay, fucking Marilyn hit me with a message from God, like a message in a bottle. She was like fucking, the singer from The Police. She gave me a little message from God. Okay, how am I going to do this? And I remember writing down the fucking most cliché-est, gayest thing ever. I wrote 1 day at a time. I don't even know why I wrote that. I didn't think of AA or nothing. I just wrote at one day at a time. I'm going to quit this one day at a fucking time. And I remember I came back, I had 3 days of being fucking sober. And I got back on a Sunday, and Monday morning, I was 4 days of being sober. And I felt like I had fucking spiders in my skin. I'm like, this just doesn't feel good, man. And I was looking at the calendar, like that Friday I had a spot, that Thursday I had a spot, and I'm like, I don't think I'm going to make these fucking spots. I just don't think I'm going to do this shit. So I said, fuck it. I'm going to start shooting a movie on Thursday. That movie started on a Thursday. I got back from Jersey on a Monday. That movie started on a fucking Thursday. And I'll never forget that I was like, it was 3 weeks from Thanksgiving. We were going to end the day after Thanksgiving, so that Friday. And I was like, how the fuck am I going to fucking stay sober for 3 fucking weeks? I got it. I'll buy a bottle of NyQuil. I'll pull a J Moore. I'll buy a bottle of NyQuil and NyQuil myself to death every time I have a fucking craving. You know, every time I have a fucking craving. So I did the NyQuil trick Thursday night. I think I did the NyQuil trick on Wednesday night. And I did the fucking NyQuil trick on a Friday night. Yeah. It makes sense now. And that fucking Saturday night, I fucking went to the Comedy Store. And they were having a benefit for Maryland that Monday. I'll never forget it. I'm like, how am I going to fucking hold it together? And that Saturday night, I said, fuck it. I'm not going to hold it together. I went and I got a package at the store. One little package, just a quick 50, just something to, and nobody would know. I was like, I'm not going to be able to fucking do this. And I'll never forget, I got in the car, I closed the car, and as I got to the bottom of the hill, the phone rang. And it was my wife, and she goes, listen, I'm going to bed. I got to get up early, but when you come home and you go to the bathroom, the 2 cats are in there. They're not doing too good, and I'd be surprised if they make the night. It was Superbad and fucking JT, whatever, Demi Jr., DJ, JT, DJ. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was heartbroken in the car about DJ. I was about 2 or 3 weeks from bringing DJ up to the fucking apartment. He was just a little kitten. Superbad, I wasn't too fucking crazy about. I did not like him at all because he would make DJ run off and climb trees and shit. I'm like, I'm going to kill this fucking cat one day. I'd wake up in the mornings and Superbad would have DJ out on the fucking sidewalk. I had a fence there and he would have him out on the sidewalk. I go, these cats are going to get hit by a fucking car. I got to bring this motherfucker up. Too late. My wife called me. I was headed back from the store and she's like I said, when you come up the stairs and you walk in the bathroom, be careful when you open the door because the 2 cats are in there. And I remember I went home and I did a line in the bathroom. And I put the coke away, I put it all in my pocket, and I remember looking at the 2 cats and going, what the fuck am I doing with my life? I got 2 cats that are about to die in my bathroom, and I'm doing fucking coke in the bathroom. I would never, ever bring coke upstairs. I always would bring the package, pull into my garage. Then it wasn't a garage. It was an outdoor garage. There was no door that went up or down. You just pulled into it. I don't know if you guys look at the old Joey Karate videos. Those garages. Those were the garages. And I pulled in. I would pull in at night. I got no reason to lie to you motherfuckers. I would buy a gram of the strongest coke you get your hands on. And I would pick it up 2 blocks away. And on the way home at the first light, which was not La Brea, but it was the next street after La Brea, guys. You're going to have to remind me. The big main street. And I would pull up to the light, and there would usually be a car in front of me. and there was it was Fountain and whatever the street was, and there was a gas station over there. We were talking about Marky Mark before, his family, the Wahlbergs, their sandwich place. The Wahlburgers is right there on that street. So it's like, whatever. There used to be a sushi place there. There was a yogurt place there. But now, today, just to give you a landmark, there's a fucking Wahlburgers is there. At that light, I would crunch up. As I was driving to that light, he would give me a bindle, like a baggie, with one Coke Rock in there, maybe a little tenth of powder. And I would crack that soft rock up with my hands, because if the rock is hard, it's been re-rocked. If it's soft, it's the real deal Mongoli feel. That's delivered from Pablo that way. So I would get the rock, crush it in my fucking finger, roll up a dollar bill, and at the light, with a car in front of me and a car behind me, I'd put the dollar bill in the bag and I just put it up to my nose and go, and whatever I snorted, I snorted. If 3/4 of the bag went up, 3/4 of the bag went up. If a half of the bag went up, a half of the bag went up. I didn't give a fuck. I would fucking just do that. And then when I'd pull into the house, I'd have a little bit of the fucking juice in me. You know what I'm saying? I'd have a little bit of the juice in me. And I'd fucking, when I pull into the garage, I'd close the gate. And I'd go to my garage and I'd finish the other half of the bag, and then I'd run upstairs and I'd take a 2-foot shit from all the coke and the adrenaline running through your veins and shit. So that's exactly what I did that night. I did a little bump upstairs, but for some reason I brought the coke with me in my pocket. I ran up the fucking stairs and I opened the bathroom and I went to shit, and there was Superbad and Demi, and I had the last fucking bindle, and I fucking did a fucking line in front of the cats. And I remember how bad I felt. Like I was out there all night just feeling fucking terrible. You know, I'm like, how can I bring this into my fucking house? So I took the coke, I flushed it, and I said, that's it. And I jumped in my fucking bed and I went to sleep. My wife woke me up in the morning and she's like, Joe, I just want to tell you that DJ died while you were sleeping. I was about to bring DJ up. I told her just to close the door, and I was fucking heartbroken as shit. I said, fuck this. She goes, what do you want me to do with Superbad? I go, I don't know. And I remember getting up, going in the bathroom, getting on my hands and knees and going, God, you know what? I don't like this fucking cat at all, but he can't die. He can't die. You took one cat because I did coke in the apartment. I would never do coke upstairs. I broke the rule one time and you took a fucking cat. You can't take the other cat. If it means me not snorting coke, I'm making you this promise right now. I'll never fucking snort coke again. And that was it. I remember going to sleep, waking up that afternoon, doing coke. Not doing coke, doing comedy that night. And I remember that I had 3 weeks to shoot that movie. I was petrified as fuck. You know, when I think back now, I was scared of getting clean. How fucking crazy is that? Like, I was scared of getting clean. You know, I know that there's a lot of you guys struggling right now with opioids or drinking or the pills, and I know that when you wake up in the morning, you look at the ceiling and you say to yourself, this is never going to fucking end. I'm never going to get away from this fucking bullshit. But guess what? You are. You know why? Because I did. And guys, I remember snorting coke and my fucking spine hurting. My spine would give me electrical jolts. My whole fucking body would jolt like that. That's not a good feeling. And that's what I walked away from. And I'm just fucking happy I did, guys, you know. So this Monday, the 15th of November, is dedicated to my 14 years of sobriety. I never thought I could fucking do it. I never thought I could do it, guys. Honest to God. And listen, I've had some really bad things happen to me. I've been involved in some very bad things that I've created along the way. Nothing bad just happens to you, you know. all these people. I was walking down the street and a black guy fell on me. You know, it just doesn't happen that way. You had to be doing something. You know what I'm saying? It don't happen that way, cocksucker. So, you know, and a lot of things life just imposed on me and shit. But this, I had to do this. And I think about my life. I think about, you know, taping the Netflix special, taping the special with those other fucking mooks. I think about doing theaters, which I never thought about in the beginning. I think about The Longest Shot. I think about so many great fucking things. I think about my daughter being born, me getting engaged to my wife. A lot of great fucking things happened. But if I have to look at the single most best thing that ever happened to me, was getting off of drugs. I got to tell you something, guys. It feels great to smoke a joint at night. It feels great not to smoke pot all fucking day. It feels great not to be addicted to something, whether it's a fucking anxiety pill, cocaine, or whatever. It feels great that nothing's got a hold on you. I don't know how your life is today or what you're doing, and I'm nobody to fucking talk. I'm just here to help you get through today. That's what this podcast is about. This is entertainment. I'm just a fat fucking felon, and this is just about us getting through today. It's 2022 in 6 weeks. If you're still fucking around with drugs, it's time to clean your fucking act. You know, I give thanks if I have to be lucky enough, and I hate saying this word because a lot of you guys don't like it, God or the upper power. I know a lot of you guys don't want to hear it. But if I have to be thankful for one fucking thing, and you all got to witness it, I'm thankful that I was never snorting coke and 3 people died when I was around. I mean, I'm happy that I never fucking killed nobody in a car and I was high on coke or anything like that. But I got to be honest with you, when that happened to Kate Quigley, I can't tell you how thankful I fucking was that that situation never happened to me. And dog, Kate Quigley's 37 years old. She started doing coke later on in life. The odds of it happening to Kate Quigley or it happening to me were greater for me because of the distance, the amount of time I did coke. But you know what? After that happened to Kate Quigley, I was like, thank God I never did coke again. Thank fucking God. I thank Beaumont, Texas, where I OD'd, because in 2005, that's when I started thinking about quitting. So it took me 2 years to quit after thinking about it for 2 years. So I know you think you're struggling. I know you think you're never going to get off this shit, whether it's booze, fucking drugs, pills, whatever the fuck. But let me tell you something. If I got off coke, I'm a fucking retard. And if I got off coke without going to rehab, if I got off coke, I got off coke because I had to move the fuck forward. And it was holding me back. And that's what any of these drugs do to you. 2022 is here. We're 6 weeks away, which means it's here. In 2 weeks, we're going to hit Thanksgiving. And after that, the fucking times are going to roll. And next thing you know, it's going to be New Year's Day. Get started preparing for it today. That's it. You want 22 to be a fucking great year? Prepare yourself right now, what you want to happen, what your goals are, and what things you're going to kick out of your fucking life to move forward. You know, I got these 2 cousins that I grew up with in Miami, and I love them dearly, you know. I talk to one and I text with the other guy, but both of them are fucked up. We all had the same thing happen to us. We all had the same childhoods. We all had the same type of parents. And our parents died. You know, my parents died the first, and then the one guy, his parents died like 20 years later. And then my cousin, the kid that, you know, me and him grew up together pretty much. His parents, his mother just recently died. And the difference between me and them is that they're stuck. They got stuck in that void, you know. I have a lot of friends in North Bergen that are still stuck in the 80s, the 90s. They can't jump out of that. I think me quitting coke unstuck me. So I think by you quitting whatever drug you're doing, whether it's booze or whatever, I think you'll be unstuck. Whenever the kid from Florida hits me up, it's because he's drinking. After he'll text me 10 times, I'll call him up and go, knock it off with the text. What the fuck is going on? And we'll talk. And he's drinking. So I think that any substance could keep you stuck. I'm happy that I stopped on November 3rd of 2007. I'm grateful every day that I stopped, and I'm grateful that one of you motherfuckers stopped. And that's the podcast for Monday, the 15th of November. I don't know what else to fucking tell you, motherfuckers. Just get ready. 2022 is coming, and I'm fucking excited. I haven't been this excited in a long motherfucking time. I love you motherfuckers with all my heart. Packwoods is selling out of laughing gas like a motherfucker. I'm hearing great things. The second batch is deadly. I gave some to Mikey there to take home for the next couple days. And that's it, and that's that. I love you motherfuckers with all my heart. Have a great fucking Monday. And we'll be back Wednesday, the 17th. Ready for this one? That's the day. Thursday will be November 18th is the day I fucking kidnapped Kent Vela. So that we have another anniversary. November's filled with anniversary. Mother's death, quitting cocaine, kidnapping Vela. You know, give or take. My Santeria, I got inducted on the 28th of the month. That'll put me at 52 years. It's a great month, November. I love you, motherfuckers. Stay tip-top, Magoo. And now for a word from my motherfucking sponsors, Jack. All right, you bad motherfuckers, I want to thank you for watching or listening to The Joint today. I'm excited. 14 years, no cocaine. How the fuck would you feel? Tremendous. The Joint is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. We talk about BetterHelp a lot on the show, and this month we're discussing some of the stigmas around mental health. Listen, man, I was stuck. You guys know that. All you got to do is listen to a podcast in January, February, or March, and you could tell there was something wrong with me. But I'll tell you what, I contacted BetterHelp. I started talking to a therapist named Dana. We talk once a week, early morning, and it's been fantastic. You know, many people think therapy is for so-called crazy people, but it's not. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It means that you recognize that we have emotions, and we got to learn to control them, not avoid them. Therapy is a tool to utilize before things get worse. If I would have known what I know now, I would have been talking to somebody while I was doing stand-up in L.A., and I tried to, but I just couldn't make Monday nights. So now I'm all in, and BetterHelp is customized online therapy. Don't wait until you're feeling unbearable. BetterHelp offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist. You don't have to see anybody on camera if you don't want to, and it's much more affordable than in-person therapy. And you can start communicating with your therapist in less than 48 hours. Give BetterHelp a shot today. You're going to find out why over 2 million people have used BetterHelp Online Therapy. You're not going to find a therapist. They're all busy. The pandemic put us all in a whirlwind, but you don't have to feel like this anymore. Today, go to betterhelp.com/Diaz. That's betterhelp.com/Diaz. Take control of your life and get the help you deserve with BetterHelp. I'm going to get you 10% off your first month when you put in code Diaz. That's it, and that's that, right? What else we got here? All right. The Joint is also brought to you by Zip Recruiter. Listen, I don't know if you guys know, there's 10 million people looking for jobs. Only 7.6 million people are looking for work, but there's 10 million job openings. If you have a job opening you need to go above and beyond to get qualified people, ZipRecruiter can help. If you need help building your team, you need to try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Joey. Why am I using ZipRecruiter, Joey? Because they use powerful technology excuse me, to find and match the right candidates with your job and present them to you. You can easily review your recommendations and invite your top choices to apply. ZipRecruiter is so effective, guys, that 4 out of 5 employers who post a quality candidate find them within the first day. That's why they're rated #1 in the U.S. So do me a favor, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/Joey, Joey. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Joey. That's Joey. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. I want to thank Onnit. I want to thank BetterHelp.com, and I want to thank ZipRecruiter.com for giving me an opportunity. And I want to tell you guys something real quick. You should get yourself a little freeze pipe or start following them on Twitter. I didn't even know they were on Twitter. They got some great things they do with the freeze pipe on Twitter. So go to Twitter and friend freeze pipe, and that's it. I love you, motherfuckers. It's Monday the 15th. Go get what belongs to you, cocksuckers. Tip top Magoo. I'll see you Wednesday morning, ready to rock. I love you.